Hello, 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 check, hello, 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 check, hello, 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 check, hello, 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 check, hello, hello.
Hello. Okay. Good morning, everyone, and a very warm welcome to all present here. On the second day of International Conference on Sustainable Innovation with Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning, we are truly honored and delighted to have all of you with us today. We extend a heartfelt welcome to all our guests, dignitaries, and participants who have joined us for this special occasion. We would now like to present our esteemed guests with a token of appreciation for their valued presence and contribution. We are deeply honored to welcome and felicitate Professor Dr. Sachinandan Mohanty, Professor at VITAP University, Andhra Pradesh. I would like to request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, to kindly present the token of appreciation to Dr. Sachinandan Mohanty, Sir. Next, we are equally honored to welcome and felicitate Mr. Udayan Kanade, founder and CEO of Honorix Labs. I would kindly like to request Dr. Kedar Sant sir to present the token of appreciation to Mr. Udayan Kanade sir. Thank you so much, everyone. Now, with the guests felicitated, we will now move on to the most awaited part of the morning, the keynote session. It is an absolute honor to introduce our first keynote speaker for today, Professor Dr. Sachinandan Mohanty, a distinguished academician, researcher, and thought leader in the field of computer science and engineering. Dr. Mohanty is currently serving as a professor at VITAP University, Andhra Pradesh, where he continues to inspire innovation and academic excellence. He earned his PhD from the prestigious Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur, in 2015, followed by postdoctoral research at IIT Kanpur in 2019, marking significant milestones in his illustrious academic journey. His extensive research portfolio spans across data mining, big data analytics, cognitive science, fuzzy decision making, brain computer interfaces, and computational intelligence. With a deep commitment to advancing knowledge in these emerging domains, Dr. Mohanty has authored or edited 42 books with leading international publishers such as Springer, CRC Press, Nova, etc. Throughout his career, Dr. Mohanty has held esteemed academic positions at premier institutions including the College of Engineering Pune and the ICFAI Foundation for Higher Education, Hyderabad, contributing immensely to the academic and research communities. A testament to his global impact, Dr. Mohanty has been recognized among the world's top 2% scientists by Stanford University and Elsevier BV for 3 consecutive years 2022, 2023, and 2024. He is also a senior member of IEEE, reflecting his sustained excellence and leadership in research and innovation. Dr. Mohanty's dedication to academic growth, scientific advancement, and mentorship continues to shape the future of computer science and technology. We are deeply honored to have him with us today. Please join me in extending a very warm welcome to Professor Dr. Sachinandan Mohanty to deliver his keynote address.
Namaskaram. Hello. Am I audible to last? Okay. So very good morning to one and all. Respected Vice Chancellor Professor Kulkarni, respected Registrar Sir, respected Dean Professor Patil, my friend Udain, and convener of the key person of the backside conference, my friend Sital, and all the respected Dean Director of the institution, and all the keynote speakers, and the paper presenter, delegates, and finally the VTNs, the, the pioneer students and student members and volunteers. So as you know, today, very famous day. Anybody can guess why today become famous? Anybody can guess? Because today is the World Mental Health Days. So my talk was basically fortunate match with this innovation and sustainability of AI. So I'll go to brief about how your spiritual mind become towards related to innovation. Then I come to one research paper we have published last year with the help of how your Mahamantra chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, how it will be helpful for your, we can call the Gita, right? Gita will helpful your decision making day by day in your life. So coming to the first, you see, this is the sustainable innovations with AI and ML. The right hand side, you can see how the hemorrhaging technology is spread. Then you see the Krishna harmonies AI balance. Lord Krishna taught balance and action of karma yoga. Sustainability AI reflect this using machine learning, responsible for the balanced progress of the ecological preservation. For example, AI can optimize the irrigation, crop cycle, and energy use in agriculture, aligning with the Krishna technology, living harmony in nature of Prakriti. So, in this what happened, we can call the Prakriti, Sanskriti, and Pragati. These are three different. I will tell you what the difference between these three. People are doing mistake. I'm also doing mistake, you also doing mistake, everyone doing mistake. That is our Prakriti, right? Everybody, human do mistake, that is Prakriti. Once you admit the mistake, that is called the Sanskriti. If you admit the mistake and rectify the mistake, that is called the Pragati. So in this way, we can find this vibrational sustainability power of sound and the data, the human mind, the similarity, the AI and algorithm seeks harmony of the data and the findings, the balance pattern and optimization to strive the sustainability throughout the region like chanting, sustain the spirit while AI sustain innovation through the intellectual designs. Now coming to the Mahamantra chanting, as you know, everybody, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is the real work we have did with the help of around 100 student participants. And this paper also published one of the Q2 journal, Advanced in Integrated Medicine. So our title is the investigative impact of Mahamantra chanting on anxiety and depression. As you know, the today World Mental Health Day, we can find the anxiety and depression, how the each rhythm analysis approaches will be identified, and how your Krishna chanting will helpful to depress your anxiety and depression will be find the these articles available link. I also circulate to the organizer, they can provide to you. So the plan of presentation, we can go for 5 introductions or you go to a related study, then I will go for the experimental design, how did the experiment, then what result it comes, and after that we can result will be interpret, then what are the future directions there. And this the paper having few limitations are there. I will discuss what are the limitations are. So as you know, the human body is a psychological perspective. Mahamantra understood the powerful tools by combines of different type of elements. Right? So first thing your thinking, how a human being perceive, how particularly suppose you can think a particular image, suppose the cat image. So how you imagine is a cat, how you know, because childhood you already train this type of image is called the cat. The moment you observe now, we can recognize it's a cat because that is in your memory. So similarly here what happened, we can find a repetition of mantra you can do by attention, and Mahamantra also highest care symbol called the Hinduism. This is called the Hinduism. And process can be promote the mental clarity and reduce mental chatter and create the state of mind. So our brain is nothing but is connecting 10 to the power 23 neurons, 10 to the power 23 neurons, and these neurons are well connecting each other. They're passing the information to one node to another node, and our brain is connecting to spinal cord, and spinal cord connecting to all the other part of the bodies. So when you walk, immediately you see one snake coming in front of you, so immediately you go back because that is called the reflex action. Reflex action means, so you know there is a snake, so you shouldn't go front, then go back. Similarly, you drive a car, someone coming in front of you, you apply the brake. So this is nothing but action. You are observing the object by your capturing the image from the eye, and the image passing to your brain, and brain very quick decision, and brain given the signal to your leg, you apply the brake. So in this way, our signal will be work in very fraction of time. Now, our brain, I already told you, the brain is complex organ made of the nervous tissues and controls of the bodily functions. It made up the 3 main parts. One is called the cerebrum. You see the cerebrum and the cerebellum and the brainstem. The brain also contains blood vessels and the nerves, including the neurons and the glial cells. The size of the brain, about 3 pounds in adult, which is about 2% of the body weight. Suppose your body weight is around, suppose 2%, what of the body weight? So again 2% will be your weight of your brain. The composition of brain is nothing but you are made of 60% fat, remaining 40% in water, like in protein, carbohydrates, and some salt, like a sodium, potassium, like that. Now the further functions, so thought, the decision, memory, and the emotions, and the movements, the perceptions, I already told you, the automatic behavior, and the regulation organ functions, speech and language function. So these are the major function of your brain. Now, coming to the EEG signal. So as you know, ECG related to your heart signal, electrocardiogram signal, but EEG is nothing but electroencephalogram signal. So this signal will be measured. One device is there, that is a different type of device. One is 32-bit channel, 64-bit channel, 16-bit channel, 8-bit channel. So that device, you look at here, that guy wearing that cap, and each white is called one nodes through which we can collect the signals. And the signals is called a bunch of whites are there backside, and these signals is connected to your monitor, and through monitor we can read all the alpha, beta, gamma and delta signals, the strength, right? So these are electrodes, and this cap is called mindset cap. The device is called mindset cap. And this is 32 channel. Similarly, 64 channel, 18 channel also there. So here what happened? So you see the amplitude range from 1 microvolt to 100 microvolts, and frequency classified into different type of bands. What are the different type of bands? Delta waves, theta wave, alpha and beta and gamma. So these are 5 ways are measuring things are required. So delta having some, we can the measuring 0.5 to 4 hertz, we call the associate with the, we can call the delta waves in when you come the deep sleep unconscious mind. So unconscious mind means suppose you, anybody have took the anesthesia during operation. So what happened? Your body will be not sense is there, right? So that is called your unconscious mind. And theta waves 4 to 8 are relaxation, drowsiness, meditation and relaxation. Alpha waves 8 to 13, that is a calm, no stress, relaxation. And beta waves 30 to 30, one cognitive task. So what is cognitive task? Cognitive task means you receive a signal and process in your brain, then we can call response. Suppose I will ask you 2 plus 2 into 4 how much? 2 into 4 how much? 8. There is no cognitive task. You are just memory is you just there. 21 into 83 how much? Now you forget. Now cognitive task comes because you're thinking. You're thinking, you do some calculation, then you can find the solution, you can tell. Suppose I will tell you who is the Prime Minister of India? In Narendra Modi. Who is the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka? You're thinking now. So Narendra Modi in your mind, immediately you can tell yes, another. But Sri Lanka, what will do? You collect the information, you can ask ChatGPT, you can ask your friends, you can Google, right? You can ask your parents, collect all the information, keep in your memory, and whichever information are very close, right? Then you can tell. So that is called the cognitive capability. Now here, the cognitive task means what you informations receive, store your memory, then retrieve, then compare, then speak. This is the result. So this is called the cognitive task. Now you go to your Kon Bardega Kororpati when Mamita Bachchan asks many questions. First 4-3 questions are very easy. So that is no cognitive task is there. When after 5th onward questions, so we can ask you to think many things, right? So that is called the cognitive. Similarly here, the gamma rays are last 30 to 100 hours related to higher cognitive process, the peak mental performance, problem solving. As I already asked you, suppose puzzles games are there. So that time what will do, your gamma waves are too much active. 32 minimum, 100 maximum, the problem solving is still are there. Similarly, the sources of EEG signal are nothing but electrodes, and electrodes are placed in your scalp, and according to, you can standardize the like 10 to 20 international systems are there, different companies are there. Now, the sampling rate, we can find typically 250 to 1000 hertz in a clinical application. And this study also we validate with some your blood sample. So I'll tell you what the enzymes on your brain, that also can validate. Look at the, these are the different electrode position. You please look at here, same thing, we take the geographical region. So these are the look at, when you use the top view, it looks like this. The C stands for central, T stands for temporal. So these are the images we can find out. And these are the university we have already studied. 16 channel we consider and 256. So different type of signal we can collect it in electrode placement. Then we can found here in our study related to in other study, we did the Mahamantra chanting. Some few of researchers also did Om chanting also. So some teacher also did the Om chanting in 1998. So there also what we'll do, we can find the pre and post group. So what is pre and post group? We collect the 20, n is equal to 20. Suppose here 20, I randomly collect. You come 20% here, okay? Then, so this 20% what we'll do, we given one task, right? You have to perform the task. Then I allow to them you go on chanting for half an hour. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare. So slowly you go chanting for the 30 minutes. Then again, we give again same questionnaire. Then we found that before chanting, your response will be very, very less. Your alpha, beta, gamma, beta very, very less. When after chanting, your alpha, beta, gamma, beta become increases. So that is the impact of the chanting. Similarly, you can find out, we observe the delta, theta, alpha, beta, gamma, and extract from the recorded and innovator supplement signal. So what we'll do, first of all, we collect all 20 sample. So one day is not possible. Each day we collected 2 to 3 sample. Then you measure the alpha, beta, gamma, right? Then I send to them, given one task. After this task, again I start them, go to chanting for the 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Then again go for the EEG signal. So we recorded pre and post. Pre means before chanting, what's the signal? Post means after chanting, what's the signal? Then we observed that the match behavioral nature of EEG, the power of rhythm was computed and compared according to the study of Mahamudra chanting. It lead the increasing in alpha. So alpha signal become increasing. So a decrease, alpha beta increase means the decrease in the anxiety and the depression. So how it did this one? You see hypothesis there. Mahamudra chanting significant effect. The relative alpha bands powerful especially central and parietal region of the brain. And alpha signal also observed during the state when mind is being peaceful, quiet, and free from stress. And thus chanting, Mahamudra chanting leads to improvement. So this is my hypothesis, objective, right? So when you check the objective is working on. Now total number of sample we collected the 40. So participant experimental study. And the first of 40 individuals, EEG signals are recorded. And these are the socio-demographic variable. The students are from, or the participant from 20 to 31 years. And years spent schooling, these are the employed experience 0 to 3 years. And family, these are the socio-demographic variable. It's not so useful for your only statistical features, we collected that one. And these 40 objects are 2 from the where left-handed. So there are this is also most important. They all are non-smoker activity, no alcoholic activity. These are, we all collect the pre-data. Then, and this scale we given positive effectivity and negative effectivity schedule panas. This scale basically developed by Watson and Clark in 1965. So they are the 2 Nobel laureates. So this scale they have developed, we have used. So what is the meaning of this scale? This scale having 10 positive, 10 negative. 10 positive means interested, excited, strong. These are the enthusiastic, proud, or positive. And negative means we can call the afraid, nervous, right, irritable. So these are called the negatives. So this questionnaire I given to you before participant the Mahamantra chanting. So I collected from 0 to 5. Suppose you interested, suppose I will tell you, so how much you excited today? How much excited? 1 to 5. 5. Then how much guilty? Negative 1. How much you feel guilty today? 1 to 5. You have to tell 1 to 5. 1 to 5. 1. So similarly, I collect all the positive. So maximum, what is the maximum value here? 5 into 10. 10 positive, 10 negative. So 50 score. So negative 50, positive 50. Got it? So negative 50, positive 50, I recorded it. Suppose participant number 1, first with the negative, first with the positive. Before participant to the Mahamantra chanting event, right? Now look at here. This is a positive initially here. Suppose 28. This is called the positive effectivity. This is nothing but before. After you see, this 28 become 46. The same questionnaire I also distributed after Mahamantra chanting, right? So now, negative initially what happened? Around 26 and it decreases around 16 something. So now this is called the impact of the Mahamantra chanting. Your positive effectivity gradually increases and negativity gradually decreases. Now, what I did, I given these questions. So this is not audible. So I have given two questions. Look at here. The perspective I am given this questionnaire. So this is the total questionnaire. This questionnaire having 10 such questions. And this question is nothing but Traversy and Kahneman slow thinking process. Their book is called the slow thinking process. You see, you can Google it. Traversy Kahneman, they wrote this book, and that's all Nobel laureate. In 1976, the book is written, and that book having these 10 hypothetical questions are there. I'm showing one hypothetical question. You can win 25,000 with probability 0.33. We can win 24,000 with probability 0.66. 0 is probability 0.1. Or you can win 20,000 with certainty. Suppose I will give this question to you. Suppose chance is there. I'll give you either you select A or B. Are you getting or not? Suppose you select A and B. You just tell there is a chance of win of probability 25,000 with probability 0.33. So what is the meaning? 25,000 multiplied by 0.33 plus 24,000 multiplied by 0.66 plus 0 into 0.01 is 0. So we can add these two, or we can select, we can certainty 20,000. Certainty means sure. So which one you will get it? A or B? B will get it because you don't want to involve this mathematical process. 20,000, 24,000, even this is higher. You multiply, even greater than 20,000, but I don't like 24,000 certainty means okay, no problem. I'm not too much greedy. 20,000 is happy with me. I don't want to invest my time because you are in happy mood. Suppose you are in happy mood, you don't want. Suppose I tell you, you got the 1 crore with a Kon Bada Kronpati. Okay, 1 crore, right? So I will tell you, can you participate this event? No, I don't require it. I have 1 crore rupees. 20,000 and not required. So here what I am going to say, if you are in positive mood state, you don't want to involve in this calculation process. You directly go for the certainty, means sure shot 20,000 I will give. If I put reverse way, you can lose the amount. Instead of win, I can put, you can lose. Negative effectivity. Win means positive effect, sub loss. You can lose 5,000 with probability 0.33, 24,000 0.66, or you can lose 20,000. Then you go for this one. Then you go for this one, right? Even also more, you go for the calculation, right? Similarly, this is the monetary benefit. Similarly, some other benefit also there, like some surgery, something, right? Whether you go for the surgery, for we can call the survival rate is more and mortality rate will be less. If you go for chemotherapy, then what happens? The painful process is more, but survival is less. Then you go for the surgery. So like that, some events also going on. So now coming to our study, we validate with your blood. So in your blood, what happened? These are the enzymes are there: dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, and oxytocin. So this enzyme, what happened? The dopamine basically pleasure and reward. Your dopamine is too much high. These are the neurotransmitter are related to your brain. When dopamine is little bit high, you have pleasure and rewards. That means when you more pleasure rewards, your dopamine little bit high. So when you did this one, before participate the chanting event, we collect the blood sample of the participant. You tested it. What should the level of dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, and oxytocin. And after chanting process, after 2 hours, then again you tested by collecting the blood sample. That's why our sample become 40, because everybody not interested to give the blood sample. It's very, very painful. We are also given to participate in the event, given 500 rupees. Otherwise they will not come. I'm given 500 rupees for each participant. So, madam, can you come for participant? I'll give 500. Oh, 500, okay, I'll come. Voluntarily, nobody come, right? Because who will give in the blood test something? Because you have to participate 4 hours. So that's why you see here, the serotonin is the happiness neurotransmitter. Suppose I will test blood sample and I observe the serotonin 2.5. After 1 hour, I will give 1 lakh rupees. So you will be more happy. Yes or no? You will be more happy. Then again a test, your serotonin definitely increases. Definitely increases, right? Now, similarly, the endorphins and oxytocin we can now we can reduce the stress. Then this is the total process. By ethical issue, we don't want to show the face because during review process, many reviewer asking why to maintain the ethical issues. So that's why I don't want to show the face. One of my research scholars, we put it black. Now you see how the backside the machine is there. We can measure, and the white is for the mindset device. Cap is wearing a 16-bit sample. Now the subject, the data equation, then pre-processing of the EEG signal. So during EEG signal, some noise are there. You have to remove by Kalman filter. Then rhythm, find the rhythm power and calculation. Then you can conclusion. And EEG signal record and chanting. This is a Muhammad chanting. Then the signal returning. So this process is to carry on up to 4 hours. Now look at here. After the evaluation is going on, the results is there. So these are nothing but your before and after and before and after. So this is nothing but your alpha power and we can 40 subject of the different channels, whether C3, C4 and the peripheral region P3, P4, because the only peripheral and the cerebrum are both the part of the brain is the alpha are more active. So that's why you can find the before and after. Now look at here. The relative power of alpha rhythm before chanting is gradually less. So for example, the subject number 1. Subject means participant. Remember, subject means participant. So participant number 1, the alpha rhythm is equal to 0.4 and the after positive, so it will be increasing. So this is nothing but the before and this is nothing but the after in alpha and the beta. And these two we can find, you look at the alpha power before and after Muhammad chanting meditation, all the 40 subject in this is called the P3, P4 and this is nothing but your C3, C4. C3, C4 means central region, P3, P4 means peripheral region. Now look at here, all the symbols, the two are there, one is called the yellow, one is the pink, the partially each one, so all the 40 samples are here. I am giving the signal is equal to 0.75. So highest is equal to 1.0, we can find out the alpha become little bit increases, then come to PZ. So gradually here on every value, alpha beta gradually increases. So I am not telling the significant increases because the participants are maybe in different mood state. So that's why little bit increases. So this is our study and how this alpha beta is gradually study increases as compared to the other participants. So what are the limitations here? Limitation is here, those are Hinduism, they can believe the Muhammad. Suppose Christian, Muslim, they don't want to do chanting. Okay, for that we are not, this is one. So first is the different type of categories we can call the Hinduism we collected. And second thing, those are not interested, we cannot force them. Those are really interested for the spiritual life, they're doing chanting, that a devotee like that we can collect it, and those are not related. And the second, another thing, those are smoking habit or drinking habit, we are not considering for the participant. So these are the one of the limitation. Another limitation is that the age group. Our study is starting from 21 years to 32 years. We have never studied after 32 years what happened. Suppose age, suppose 60, 70, 80, we are not considering, right? Because old people, they never come to our university for participant. So as per the sample available, we collect it. And second, another is equal number of male and female also we are not getting. So it's a bias study. So we can call the male having 80% and female having 20% of the population. And study has not been done in relaxed state and a normal rest state. We can call the control variable. So control variable means we can saw I mean given control variable, uncontrolled variable. Given one example. Suppose your age. Age is not a control variable because you cannot control your age. Suppose weight. What is the, suppose weight is 60 kilo. So weight may be reduced. Yes or no? You can reduce it under control. You may be control your weight, right? So weight is called the control variable. So similarly, in this what happened, normal state is called the control variable. So today what is the state? After participant the Muhammad chanting event, what's the your mood state? And before participant Muhammad chanting, what's the mood state? So normal is called your control variable, right? So here also we can do the chi-square analysis, and chi-square analysis also given quite significant in the impact of Muhammad chanting in your study, right? And randomized control trial also can do by engaging the larger number sample size. It may be extend further examine advanced technique, evaluate the precise psychological effect and the underlying mechanism. So this study also carry on. We also submit a proposal to the DST. So it's under evaluation. If approved, then you can this study may be carried. So this is the pilot study with the help of 40 sample we have did. Now, so what you concluded here? So the alpha rhythm basically increases, which is related to your positive, calm and quiet. You can look at here. I already mentioned here. What is the alpha rhythm? So alpha rhythm basically you see here, calm, no stress, relaxation and fresh. So that's why alpha wave gradually increases if you do the chanting every day for 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, so so you will be too much angry. Suppose your dean will too much angry, you advise sir kindly do the Krishna chanting. Then after your dean will be calm and quiet and relaxed after 20, then you can ask to kindly approve this one, you can do. Then he will approve it. Okay, so don't go to dean in a very angry mood. Okay. So this is nothing but your alpha, and our study also focus the alpha rhythm gradually increasing. So alpha rhythm gradually increasing after central and peripheral region. So now why central peripheral we consider? Because alpha signal only collected during peripheral and the central region, not orbital region, right? So that's why you can collect. Then it has been found that the literature the increase the presence of alpha brain waves is correlated to relaxed condition. The study indicate increase the relativity alpha brain power meditation, increase the relaxed condition. Thus, definitely it will be well-being to decrease your stress and depression. So this is our ultimately output of our study. And apart from this related, so these are the my two books related to your emotion and information processing, and decision making problem processing. So these are the very related book. So here whatever emotion and information processing. So let me tell you what I present in this book. Emotion and information processing. Emotion means what? Anybody tell me what does it mean emotion? What is the emotion? I'll give one example. Emotion means cognition. What it means cognition and emotion? Mood state and emotion. So let me relate two things. Mood state and emotion. Mood state and emotion. What is the difference between mood state and emotion? Which one most lasting longer period? Mood state or emotion? Emotional and longer period. Then what is mood state then? Okay, let me tell you mood state. This is happening in your real life also. Suppose you were driving a car or you driving a bike. Okay, suppose you driving a car. So inside car, what happened? Your family member or friends are sitting. You are listening music. You are enjoying and driving, right? So now you're in happy state? Yes or no? Suppose suddenly, without giving any pre-indication, another vehicle overtake you with high speed. So what will do? You will be immediate fear. Immediate fear. After fear, 1 second, anger come to mind. What nonsense you are doing without spring, without horn, without light, you are overtaking. Huh? So within fraction of time, 3 moods are coming. Initially, you are enjoying with a happy mood. Then come to fear. After fear, convert to anger. This happening in your life, yes or no? So these 3 are called the what? We call the mood state. So how this happen? Information processing. What information processing? So you are enjoying the song. Suppose enjoying song of Madhur Diki's song. Okay. Then you recall, oh, this movie was very nice. I enjoying. Okay. Shah Rukh Khan song. Okay. Then when you fear comes, so all the peripheral situation you observe. One car overtake you, or one truck overtake you, one bus overtake you. So that information, and it will convert into your brain, convert to angers. You angry, right? Then after that one angry, you fear. After fear, what happen? That convert to anger. So this process are nothing but your reflex actions. Your brain receiving all the signals or peripheral situation, and brain take the decision, and automatically that signal, or we can call the neurometers, the sodium, potassium, chlorides will be in balance, and automatically it comes. So this is nothing but information. Now decision making, problem solving means how cognitive capability are helpful for a decision making. So cognitive capability means, suppose I'll tell you, you purchase a lottery, you will be win 10 lakhs rupees. Suppose you want to purchase a banana. You are not asking to anyone, right? You can go banana and take, right? Suppose you purchase a house. What will do? You ask many things. You can ask your wife, you can ask your husband, you can ask your girlfriend, you can ask anyone. Ask your family member. Then you can ask your surroundings. Then you take the decision. So this decision is nothing but the group decision making. Right? So you cannot take the immediately action. So you can ask, suppose you want to purchase a particular pen, immediately go in the shop and you buy a pen. You are not asking to anyone. So this is also decision making. When you are purchasing a particular flat, or purchasing a particular car, or purchasing a particular house, you are also purchasing to many persons. Right? Suppose you are purchasing a dress for yourself. You maybe ask your girlfriend. Suppose I am asking to you. You can ask to your girlfriend at most. Otherwise, you can ask yourself. You can purchase. Yes or no? So here a wife. Suppose the wife also purchasing a sari. The wife definitely passing to you. So how he looks like. You know, I know. So hey, why you not? You should tell like that. Right. So similarly, here what happened? The decision making also having 2%. So here what will do? How your cognitive capability helpful to take. I am giving in this book. I have given 4, 5 case study also. So how you decide a decision making on the basis of your single decision making or the group decision. Now coming to your university. Some few students are suddenly go for the strike. So BC will not take single decision. So BC will call all the dean for meetings. Right? Then you can discuss among yourself and find the conclusion. That is called the group decision making. That is called the group decision. Similarly, government also produce or release one called the any benefit of the society. The government also some policy making decision. Similarly, here also, we can find out different type of decision making and how decision making will helpful for the problem solving. So that's the practical guide and applied research. This is a real life I am given 6 to 7 case study. How practically it will be guides, decision making and problem solving for the applied research. So these are the 2 books. I'll give the soft copy. You can read. So now time is for you. Can ask any questions regarding the well-being, sustainability of this one. So why the sustainability is required AI ML? During our study, 2009, you know, anybody can guess what the best social networking was there? Orkut. Now, how many of Orkut using now? Orkut nobody using. After 2010, nobody using Orkut, right? Now, how Orkut? Why not sustainability? Why not Orkut sustain? Everything. So AI ML will give many things. Don't use AI always. You AI tools will give the ample of solution. But being a expertise, your knowledge you have to apply which solution is perfect for our problem. That will tell. Don't blindly go for the AI solution. And recently, just a few months before, one newspaper came, one old couple driving a car, and the Google driver saying the path will be in the breeze, right? The breeze under construction only. So what happened that night? They fall down. So both the couple become dead in, I think, Delhi or Kanpur, some place. So don't believe always AI. So that's why AI will be gives ample of solution. So you have to find out what the solution is appropriate to particular problem. So now the data is available with you. You find the knowledge from your data. You have to collect. Your duty, being a data scientist, you retrieve the knowledge from the data, and that knowledge should be utilized for the societal benefit. How you will utilize that knowledge for benefit to the society? So that you have to do it. Now, any questions? Now, anybody can question? All the backbencher last. Yes, sir.
So, thank you very much for the presentation. And of course, we face a lot of anxiety and various kinds of emotions in life. So, you're showing that chanting could help improve our mental state is a wonderful idea. I was wondering if we know what is the causal mechanism, causal connection. What is the mental process by which chanting is causing an improvement in relaxation, in alpha waves? Why is it?
Yeah, okay. Very good question. It's $1 million questions. I have to think also. So here what happened? Suppose generally in our human being what happened? By any case or any situation, by any surrounding, we are become depressed, right? Suppose I'm not getting promotion last 5 years in the academic career, or my kids are not listening to me, or my wife is not listening to me, what I'm saying, okay? So you will be depressed definitely, right? In real life, in day-to-day life, this will happen. So once you depression, what happen? Our brain are constituting such a things, a lot of chemicals, what happen? Imbalance happen. This is psychological, this is a sociological impact happen. This happen only. No need. You cannot do anything. So in real life, it will happen. So these neurometers, what happen? That sodium, potassium, chlorides, the signals, what kind of salts are there. So that will bring what happen? Imbalance happen. So what one of the paper I've studied. To this imbalance become balance, the two things are there. One is a clinical study, one is yoga and meditation study. So yoga and meditation will take the little time. You take the, suppose in old patient what happened? Suppose the sodium become increasing or potassium, they taking the injection and tablet like that, okay? Those are mental disorder guy. So they are taking by suppressing. That is called you have to forcefully suppress that chemical neurometers. But if you do the yoga and meditation, what happen? Your thinking capability will be very narrow down. What you thinking should be in a positive direction. You don't think the negative direction. And spirituality, what happen is beyond your human imagination. So you are in materialist life. You are telling is my brother, my sister, my father. Nothing is yours. It's only for the temporary periods, right? We are become too much greedy about is my subject, is my pen, my money. Nothing is yours. While going, you only one thing will take. That is called the memory. So that is we will go to spiritual mind. So if you do any, I'm not telling the Krishna chanting. You do Om chanting, Gayatri chanting, any chanting. You will realize day by day your pressure in life, day by day anxiety become gradually increase. I think it may be due to the imbalance of what are the chemical part in our brains. So that will be automatically will be the suppressed in the constant level. Any questions? Yeah, 40. Yeah.
Along with this, they're also learning scriptures from where it is coming, for example, from the Gita or the Upanishads and all. So the person doing the results will be saving both the people who are doing the study. One is just doing it for the sake of doing it.
No, result will vary. Result will vary because we have given some hypothetical questions from Travis Kahneman. Right? Already the question I've given the monetary question, lottery question, and healthcare questions. In that case, what happened? People also there by I told you I've given the 500 rupees, they are coming. Few people is also there. I have seen before interpretation what the result, after interpretation also same. Of the questionnaire I am given, what is given before and same after. So I thought that they are coming for a monetary purpose. They are coming for 500 purpose. They are not coming for the really participated purpose. That I have to remove them. Because I know, see, if suppose this is my class student, I am teaching one subject. Out of 100 students or 60 students, 58 are getting very good mark, and 2 students not writing at all. They are given an empty space. So what does it mean? These 2 students are either not interested for the study and they are not willing to write out something. So 2 things is there. You could do anything either by force or by choice. Now what happened? PhD is going on. Everybody, they're by choice and by chance. Then when I appear the interview at PhD recruitment, I'm asking why you want to do PhD? Either by choice or by chance. By choice means your willingness is there, I do PhD. That's called by choice. By chance means since computer science now market, I do the computer science, even also I BTech civil, I want to do the computer science to survive. That is called the by chance. So we are by chance, we are not removing them. By chance are not allowed here. For getting 500 I am participating, so I have to remove them. So yeah. High. Yeah, that would high. So those are here also. Few of my students also, they are also devotee of Lord Krishna. They also participated. So they voluntarily participated. They not took 500 rupees. They voluntarily participated. So that's why those are really interested. They definitely participated. But this is, we can call these studies not so-called the bias study, but this also happening. Because this is not only one study I have did from Christian chanting. I told you the Om study is there. In 1985, there is a 200 sample they are doing Om study. And for the I motivated, if Om study, let's see Krishna chanting happening or not. So you can do some Gayatri Mantra study, also this also happening. And this also by human being also it is by true. If you do any type of spiritual activity, your mind and your calm will be very sharp. We cannot do the negative thinking. That is the cognitive capability of your human body. And you can try also. In student also you can try. If you constantly do some yoga and meditation or some chanting per day, minimum start 10 to 15 minutes, you see your thinking capability, your problem solving capability definitely will be increasing. And definitely it must be impact is there. Any question? Now other particular we not study, but Krishna chanting, we study in the two validate. One is called the your different type of I told you the enzymes are cytosine, or you can find this one study. And after blood sample you can find what are the enzyme levels. Okay, I'll tell you here. You can find, you see. So these are, so dopamine, serotonin. This is the one of the validate. The mood will be, serotonin will be positive. The serotonin level is little bit high, and dopamine little bit high. So this is the clinical study we validate with our related to the Krishna chanting, right? So those who participate, the dopamine, serotonin little bit high after involve the Krishna chanting, and the same participant little bit less the dopamine, serotonin of the same participant. That means our correlated study, the positive effectivity also increasing, as well as the mental clinical also gradually increase. This is the sample. So these also gradually increase. That means we conclude that okay, this may definitely will work because of both data are validated, will be work. Now other part we have not studied. Other part. Yeah, chanting we did around 9 to 12 because our university opened 9, so 9 to 12 we did start. Because the more impact you do on early morning, it will be more impactful. Yeah. No, we have not. So we collect the how to select sample. We have to ask the whether you have some other activity involved or not. So according to we can collect. We cannot randomly collect. Those are from drunkards and liquors. We don't want to take participant because I don't know. We have to study in future also what type of result it show. Any question? Yeah. Unconscious mind, that is called the music therapy is there. Now people are walking, those are having coma stage. Some part Washington State University they did one work, little bit 20% their effectivity is there for that is called the music therapy it will work. Those are having coma stage. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it. So many we can call what other factor also involved. Suppose I'm involved in doing chatting, but what happened when you go to temple, we are removing shoe and go puja and looking shoe is there or not. You're looking backside. So this type of activity you should be avoid. Yeah. That Brahmamudra. Yeah. But 3 morning whole step. So people are so 21 to 32 years. So not college student, they are PG scholar also, they are PhD scholar, they are already working 2 to 3 years, some company also. 21 to 31 years. Which one? So this is the age group 21 to 31 only. This is the output of age group 21 to 31. This is the age group 21 to 31. The output what we got, that is the age group 21 to 31. And 31 onwards we have not studied. And 21 before also have not studied. 21 means that UG students are that trickling mind. So maybe changing. We cannot predict. Yeah. No, I have no question. This is pure output from 21. Different, yeah. Also different. Definitely. This is the only, I told you, this is only confound in the particular study. So it has, you can have many directions are there, right? So why I'm doing this study? Because I've just gone through one paper, that Ohm study they have given. I already given the reference. So from that I can, if you Ohm, let us go for the way Krishna turning helpful or not. That is the one of the PG project you just compiled and just publish the paper. That's all. It also, this direction will tells you also do lot of amples of future direction is there. So let's see what is the benefit of the society if you do the chantings. So that is only the main goal of spiritual other groups. So that is we can find the within the group and between the group that we have to study. That is what the Anova or Manova study have not done. Analysis of variance within the group and between the group. So this is called the within the group. So between the group we have not studied. And also geographical region also there, right? Suppose you go to some Brindaman, Mathura, they people are more, we can call the spiritual, rather than go to Kolkata, they are eating non-veg everything every day. They are go to Patna, Bihar, they are aggressive mind, right? The Patna, and one study also there, and the monkeys available in Brindaman and Mathura were quite different. The monkeys available in Bihari. And Bihari monkeys are too much aggressive as compared to the monkeys are available in Bundavan and Mathura. And that also one big, very nice study. I just gone through one paper. So they also find out. Similarly also happen. Like, this also happening also. See, go to the, I suppose I tell you, the human being having more strength. Can you tell me in India region, which human being having more strength? Punjab. The Punjab, Haryana are more strength than compared to any other state of the India. You just compare the Nagaland, Kohima, and Tripura, Manipur, they are very, very weak as compared to the Punjab. And they are also not a height and appearance also can different. And Punjab and Haryana, they don't want to take any, very, very non-veg preference is very, very 0.1. So they are having, depends on milk product something, they are having mind facility more than as compared to the that northeast. The northeast every day they are taking non-veg. This also one study is there. So it's very interesting study. Okay, any questions? Okay, no questions. Thank you very much for giving the opportunity to deliver our research.
करो क्या? Thank you so much, Dr. Sachinandan Mohanty, sir, for your insightful and inspiring keynote address. We truly appreciate the time and wisdom you shared with us today. Moving on, it gives me a great pleasure to introduce our next keynote speaker, Mr. Udayan Kanade, a visionary technology entrepreneur, researcher, and educator whose work has made remarkable contributions to the fields of artificial intelligence, computational physics, and advanced software development. Mr. Kanade is the founder and CEO of Onrix Labs, a pioneering company that specializes in predictive modeling and advanced computing solutions across multiple industries, including healthcare, automotive, and engineering. His leadership at Onrix Labs reflect his deep commitment to bridging research innovation with real-world technological applications. A distinguished scholar, Mr. Kanade holds a Master of Science in Computer Science from Stanford University. Hello. 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 बोलो. Over the years, Mr. Carnegie has made significant contributions to scientific and industrial research, holding over 30 patents in areas such as electronic sensors, AI driven systems, and computational modeling. His inventive work continues to influence the design and development of intelligent technologies globally. Beyond his corporate achievements, Mr. Carnegie has a profound passion for education and knowledge sharing. After nearly 2 decades in the industry, he returned to academia as a guest faculty at the Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research, ISER, Pune, where he teaches data science and signal processing to undergraduate and graduate students, inspiring the next generation of innovators. A true thought leader, he frequently speaks at national and international conferences on topics such as algorithmic fault tolerance, distributed AI systems, and scalable machine learning. His ability to blend deep technical expertise with visionary thinking makes him one of the most respected voices in the AI community today. With a career that beautifully intertwines innovation, education, and entrepreneurship, Mr. Udayan Kanade continues to shape the future of artificial intelligence and technology driven solutions through his research, mentorship, and leadership. Please join me in warmly welcoming Mr. Udayan Kanade to deliver his keynote address.
Hello, everybody. So my topic is, are large language models the final stage of language technology? Um, More than a century ago, Karl Marx that a certain kind of social organization, way of organizing society, will be the final stage of history. Okay, that doesn't seem to have occurred by most accounts. We still seem to be progressing through history, but it's a worthwhile question: are large language models the final stage of language technology? Does everyone know what large language models are? Do you know what large language models are? Those who know, raise their hand. Okay. In in simple words, anyone? Large language models? Give me a large language model. Just shout it out. It's okay. Huh? Llama is a large language model. A larger language model, anyone? Chat GPT is a large language model. Right? And so forth. So, so there is some debate about how significant these large language models are, right? I mean, they came on the scene, all of us suddenly became aware of large language models, which is ChatGPT and all of their ilk at around 2022, and we have been now using them more and more. And how important are they? How significant are they as a technological innovation? There are some people who will claim that large language models are already general intelligence. We have achieved the state of general intelligence, and that is what it is. Some people will claim that, oh, they haven't, but large language models are going to achieve general intelligence soon. Okay, they're just there, just right in the corner. In the next 6 months, right? Some people have been saying it for the past few years now. Right? 6 months, we are going to achieve general intelligence. Some people believe that large language models will be an important constituent of general intelligence. Maybe they are not the entire general intelligence algorithm, but maybe together with some other innovations. Some people claim agentic AI will be the other innovation. Together with other innovations, they will become generally intelligent. And then there's this person, Noam Chomsky. Anyone know Noam Chomsky? Noam Chomsky said recently that large language models have not contributed anything to our understanding of the science behind linguistics. In fact, his stronger statement was, what use are there? There are no use. What is the use of large language models? They don't add anything to the discourse on understanding intelligence. So, should we be paying attention to this guy who seems to be saying something different than everyone else? Or should we be, it's just one guy. Should we disregard this one guy? Just one guy. Should we disregard this one guy? Everyone else is saying one thing. This fellow is saying something completely different. Should we disregard Noam Chomsky? Who knows who is Noam Chomsky? Noam Chomsky is considered the father of modern linguistics. Okay? This is one person that at least we shouldn't just disregard, even if that's just one person, because the last time he said something unique that no one else was saying, he gave rise to the field of modern linguistics. Okay? So we are going to try to understand this from a certain sense. So you know that, okay, why do we call large language models large? What is large in large language models? Training data is large. Okay, what else? Parameters are large. Okay, what do you, right? I mean, you are all AI and machine learning researchers, right? I hope I'm in the right conference. Okay, so you know what parameters are, or weights, right? And then you have number of weights. So how many weights or parameters do these large language models have? You know, they started with hundreds of thousands, then it went to millions, then it went to billions, and now people are claiming that there will be or already are trillion weight large language models, right? So that's large. So that's the thing that's large. The number of weights, just the size of the model, okay? And so the amount of infrastructure it takes to execute is large. The amount of energy it consumes is large. For sustainability, obviously, that all of that is bad. Training takes an extreme amount of time and data, which is extremely large, and it's growing larger and larger and larger. When we see something growing larger and larger and larger, our first thought is, well, it will go even larger, right? If it's reached all that, and it's a log scale chart. That's a log scale chart. So even if it looks like a straight line, it's actually an exponential, right? If it's going up and up and up, what's going to stop it from being a 10 trillion parameter model, and then a 100 trillion parameter model, and then I don't know what comes after trillion, gazillion parameter model. And will that happen? And some people claim that that is what will happen, right? Maybe these are also the people who claim that, oh, stock market is going up. It will keep on going up forever and ever and ever, right? That's a simple way to extrapolate, but as we know, that's not necessarily a very realistic way to extrapolate. So we'll try to be a little bit more thoughtful about where these parameters exist, what they are doing, and are they really going to go on increasing, or will something else happen? So there is this problem in large language models that in popular culture, we call it hallucinations. Have you heard of this? Hallucination. Hallucinations is basically large language models getting something wrong. Okay. The idea was, of course, calling it hallucinations is not very accurate, but for some reason that name has stuck. So I'll also call it hallucinations in this graph. The idea was that as the number of parameters go on increasing, hallucinations will go down. And where did that idea come from? That idea came from the hope that these parameters or weights are storing information. And if we give it more weights, it will store more information, so it will be right more times and it will be wrong fewer and fewer times, and that was the hope. Okay, and that did work out, and which is why the number of model parameters went on increasing. But another effect also takes place. See, not being able to remember something is just one reason why you hallucinate or make up stories. If you are giving an exam, you don't remember the correct answer, what do? Write something, right? Right, come on. Who is that Raja Harishchandra who says, I don't know the answer, so I'll not write an answer? We write something. Okay, that's what language models are doing. If they don't remember, let's see if it works. Okay? As the number of weights or parameters goes on increasing, there's another effect which unfortunately becomes worse. Okay? And that is the effect of generalization. The more weights we have, the more we can store in memory, the less we tend to generalize. Okay? And so, as the weights go on increasing, the model will become more and more sensitive to not only what was asked, but the specific way in which it was asked. And of course, we know this, and the companies who are giving us these models know this, and which is why they say that, hey, please use this prompting guide and please ask the question in this specific way, then our model works well. Why does it work well with only that specific way and other ways it starts degrading? That is because it has failed to generalize. This is the point? Yeah? When I was young, there was this famous mathematics class in our wonderful city, and among the various formulas we had to remember, one of them was a plus b whole squared. We remembered it. A square plus twice ab plus b squared. Then after a few days, there was another formula. P plus q whole squared. It was a separate formula. We remembered it separately. P square plus twice pq plus q squared. Then there was x plus y whole squared. And then, one day I stood up and asked, what if it is c plus d whole squared? And I was told that has never been asked in the exam. Okay? So if you are separately remembering a plus b whole squared and p plus q whole squared and x plus y whole squared, that means that you are failing to generalize. This is the point. And that makes sense, right? You are utilizing your pure memory to not have to generalize, in the hope that most of the times in the exam, one of these three will be asked. So I don't have to teach my students that, please, these are actually all the same. Okay? So the more memory you give a large language model, the more it will fail to generalize. And so what will happen is, overall, if you look at the hallucination or the accuracy curve, it's going to go down and then it is going to go up again. Okay? At this end, you are getting more of a failure to remember. At this end, you are getting more of a failure to generalize. Unfortunately, as users, we cannot tell the distinction. As users of a large language model, we cannot tell when it fibbed because it couldn't remember and when it fibbed because it couldn't understand. Okay? Ideally, we would like in this graph for there to be a point where that curve touches 0 and then goes back up, wouldn't we? Right? Ideally, as AI researchers, that's what we would want to happen. Right? There's just like this very specific point on this graph where the memory loss is also 0 and where the generalization is also perfect. Wouldn't we want that? That would be like perfect intelligence, wouldn't it? Right? Well, perfect generalization is perfect intelligence, let us say. Right? But think about it. We have no control. We don't even understand what these large language models do. And Now we all know that we don't understand. Earlier we thought that we understood and so forth. But now we all know that we don't understand what's happening inside. If we don't understand what's happening inside and we have some random norms that we are tweaking in the hope that some decent amount of learning comes out of it, how are we going to be able to control them in such a manner that we will find that exact zero? And in the black boxness of those models, why should there even be a place where it touches zero? Furthermore, given the amount of energy and resources it utilizes to train a single large language model, how much of a search to the meta-parameter space are we going to be able to do to find that point that it becomes zero? Okay? And so my prediction, why am I saying all this? I'm saying all this to explain that, see, in the graph that I showed you previously, the largeness of the models was increasing. Their parameters, number of parameters were going up and up and up for a while. But if you notice in the past 1 or 2 years, that has tapered off. And the tapering off is not a function of technology. It is a function of this graph, that eventually adding more parameters is not causing more intelligence. Okay? And that has caused the current slowdown in technology. Here's my bold prediction. Not only will the parameters stop moving, as they seem to have stopped moving, the number of parameters will actually go down. And if I want to be really bold, it's going to go down, 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 way down, to back from trillions to billions to millions to thousands, and maybe one day to zero. Okay? Bold prediction. I'm going to give you a different example for a moment to try to explain why I think this is going to happen. Think about chemical reaction analysis, right? We did like physical chemistry in college sometime 11, 12 standard or something like that. Remember that? Yeah, we had these reactions and we write 2 times H2O plus 2H2 or whatever and gives something reaction enthalpy. If you think of the development of that as a science, what came first was, people were trying to do chemical reactions for the past few thousand years at least, right? So first, people remembered how much of each reactant is required for any useful chemical reaction, right? After that, they realized, whatever is the size of the chemical reaction, the reactants are required in a particular proportion. Okay? And that itself caused a reduction in how much information you need to remember to be able to calculate how reactions will proceed. Right? Before we had that, we had to remember big tables of every reaction that we knew. But the proportionality reduced the number of parameters that we will have to remember. Till then, in history, what was happening is that as we had more and more reactions coming in, we had more and more tables being created by scientists. And that this thing caused a reduction in the number of parameters that will still give accurate predictions. In fact, it will give more accurate predictions than before. And as you can see throughout this thing, we figured out that the proportions are not just real number proportions, but they are in fact integer proportions if you take what is called equivalent weights. And then something called the periodic table came about and by Mendeleev, and the periodic table even further reduced the number of parameters that we need to remember to be able to remember how chemical reactions happen. And then of course after that, the periodic table was further explained using scientific principles like the Aufbau principle. And eventually the state today, many claim, is that there is this standard model of particle physics which has got just 19 numbers, just 19 constants, and those 19 numbers can completely explain any chemical reaction and completely explain the exact reactants, the exact inputs and outputs, the weights, the volumes, and the enthalpies. Of course, I mean, whether quantum physicists actually calculate it is a different question, but they claim that these 19 numbers explain everything. Of course, scientists are not going to wait. Now they are going to try to say that, can we go beyond these 19 numbers? Maybe go down to 4 numbers, 3 numbers, 1 number, 0 numbers, and explain the universe in as few numbers as possible. This same pattern repeats throughout all of science, that the parameters go on increasing. If you think of astronomy and astronomical models, parameters go on increasing, and then as our science progresses, as we get more scientific models, explanatory models rather than black box models, the parameters go on decreasing. Okay, this happens in astronomy, this happens in physics, happens in chemistry, it happens in every field of study. And so if you think of large language models as models of linguistic behavior, or models of language behavior, then there is some sense in saying that those parameters will go on increasing, and then we will start understanding how language actually works, and then the parameters will go on decreasing again. And so let's try to understand this from the point of view of the field of computational linguistics. Okay, I gave you an example in chemistry just to try to show you that this has already happened. The parameters increasing and decreasing has already happened in various fields. The field of large language model, let's call it in general computational linguistics, and let's ask ourselves whether this same effect is going to happen in computational linguistics as well, that the parameters will go on increasing and the parameters will go on increasing. Here's a short history of computational linguistics. Computational linguistics, we could say, started around the time of Panini, who was a grammarian of Sanskrit language. He was the first person to try to create a mathematical model of a language and go and study it. It's a really advanced and rather precise mathematical model of a natural language. That's Panini's model, mathematical model of Sanskrit. That's by various dating estimates, he lived around 0 AD. So this work is around 2000 years old. It was continued by various grammarians and philosophers. Then there was a lull in computational linguistics. I call him the first computational linguistics, even though computers weren't there, of course, because the idea of computational linguistics is not necessarily having computer models of language, it's having computable models of language, having mathematical models of language. In that sense, his work can really be considered, go and read it. It's really actually precise mathematics, and it's worth reading. Around 100 years ago was born this fellow Chomsky. We saw him, Noam Chomsky, and he revived the spirit of using mathematics to study languages, and so we can call Chomsky's work as the modern revival of computational linguistics. Chomsky, by the way, in his work refers to Panini and chose Panini as a reference. Okay, so I am not coming up with this by myself. It's well known that there's a continuum. In fact, Chomsky language model hierarchy, which Pisena madam taught me, I think. He taught me programming languages. Yes, compiler theory. Yes. So the Chomsky language model hierarchy, Panini's work is one of the previous works which fits within Chomsky's language model hierarchy. And of course, these mathematical language structures being built from the 1940s, early 1950s, and so forth, till maybe in the 1980s or so, we started hitting what is called the problem of context. Okay. Researchers realized that language is ambiguous and resolving ambiguity requires context. Let me try to give an example. uh, I deduced he must have walked using logic. Okay? Listen to the example. The example. I deduced he must have walked using logic. And here's another statement. I deduced he must have walked using legs. Okay? From the structural point of view, these two sentences are exactly equivalent. I just replaced one word and it's a noun, so the structure remains the same. And still, in our mind, we don't parse it the same way, right? I deduced he must have walked using logic. The logic was used for deduction, right? I deduced he must have walked using legs. The legs were used for walking, right? Yes? And so even though the language is ambiguous, the language structure itself is ambiguous, we resolve that ambiguity using our contextual information. That contextual information can come from our knowledge of the universe. We know that logic is usually used for deduction and legs are usually used for walking. Legs are very unusual to be used for deduction and logic is very unusual to be walking on. Okay? And so our brain automatically connects that to that and that to that. You see this point? So, so we realize that a lot of contextual information, whether that is just context of the real world or maybe that context of the field that this passage is occurring in, or even what has previously occurred in the passage by the time of which this statement came about, all of that context is informing our reading of a particular sentence, and that is helping us resolve the ambiguities in language. Okay, this is the problem that we hit. Okay, this is the problem that large language models seem to have solved, that we were stuck at for maybe half a century now. Okay, and I'll come to that. So the problem of context in resolving ambiguities, and so what happened, say, starting around 1990s, 1995, is people started trying to encode common sense. Let's try to build a common sense model. Okay, because this thing that legs are used for walking, if I just tell a computer that legs are used for walking, then this ambiguity will be resolved. It won't be ambiguous anymore. It would mean a specific thing. So maybe encoding common sense allows us to overcome the structural ambiguity of language. And so that started, and then of course various professors made various PhD students sit down in the lab and start typing in common sense things, like legs are used for walking, arms are used for swimming, gills are used by fish for breathing, and they just started typing this out and seeing if that improves language processing. And then they realized that, poor PhDs cannot sit and type out all the common sense in the world. And so kind of that that fell by the wayside. Even though, like, there were papers that showed that, hey, if we included these common sense data, then language processing does improve. No one tried to create an actual technology that uses such common sense to improve language. And so then people said, okay, so what can we do? What can we do? And so then what started happening, say from around 2000, 2005, is people started using machine learning techniques in an attempt to encode common sense. These were called collocation models. collocation models are one particular way of encoding common sense in linguistics technology. And so what happened is, well, it's too much to, actually make PhD students write down all the known common sense facts. Maybe machine learning can help. And that is how black box thinking entered the picture. We all know machine learning is black box thinking, right? And so that is how black box thinking started occurring, because we were stuck and we didn't know how to explicitly encode common sense. We started using black box techniques to encode common sense. And then machine learning started being used more and more and more. And I think the limiting case of that is large language models, which I think have no sense of any linguistics at all. And they are just a pure black box machine learning technique, and which is why it has to be trained on humongous amounts of data to be able to do whatever it does. Literally, I mean, hello. Okay. So, literally, if you have studied language models usually based on the transformer architecture is just a large grand matrix multiplication, and maybe 20, 25 of them one after the other, and in between you have a nonlinearity, and that's it. It's like you need 10 minutes to write it on a blackboard, and that is all the mathematics that is there in a transformer architecture. And it is surprising that something so trivial should be able to do what it does. But remember, it's trivial, but it's huge. It's extremely large. And so which is why it is doing somewhat what it is doing. So what has happened if you look at this, right? Maybe in the past century or so, past 30, 40 years at least, is that there is a divergence between the idea of linguistics and the idea of natural language processing. So computational linguistics should actually encompass both linguistics and natural language processing. But they have been diverging away from each other, say for the past 25, 30 years now, slowly. Okay? To the extent that today, I mean, from the same time, let's say from 1995 onwards, linguistics has also developed, and there are newer linguistic theories of how language works. But the linguists themselves don't try to be computational, don't try to be complete, don't try to actually show on large corpora that their technologies are working and working thoroughly. It's not even technology. It has gone more into being a descriptive, non-statistical science, a humanities kind of science. Whereas natural language processing has progressed on another path and has become more of a black box algorithms kind of domain. So hidden Markov models came first, and then different kinds of techniques came, and eventually we are in this completely black box large language model situation. Okay, so this divergence between linguistics and natural language processing, and we could think that, hey, now natural language processing is so successful, why do we care about the divergence? We are successful. We are all AI researchers. We are successful. We have won the world. We have created artificial intelligence. That's it. That's the final stage of history. Why do we need to worry about what linguistics is doing? Chomsky, if you remember, now that statement makes more sense. Large language models have not contributed to our understanding of the science behind linguistics. Right? I mean, if you really were curious about understanding how language itself works, large language models are not helping, because that's just another black box to study. Human beings were already one black box to study. Now you have another black box to study, and you are none the wiser in understanding how language itself works. Chomsky himself had a very interesting idea of how language might work, and that's called the idea of universal grammar. Chomsky went on to claim that maybe there is a single universal grammar. All languages are using the same grammar. That seems like a very strange thing to say, right? Okay, But remember, it's Noam Chomsky, not me, that said that maybe all languages are using the same grammar. And there are some it seems very strange at first, because of course, I mean, there are different languages, and unless we know the language, we can't talk to a person speaking that language. So what do you mean by universal grammar? One of the indications that there might be such a thing as universal grammar comes from the observation of poverty of stimulus. A lot of you must have observed young children acquiring language, right? And how many sentences have they heard by the time of which they start speaking and in fact start making sense? It's some like prototypical language, but they start making a bit of sense. And by various estimates, they have heard maybe between 1,000 to 5,000 to 10,000 sentences, by the time of which they start actually acquiring language and actually speaking. And unless there was some deeper structure to language, some theory that we don't understand yet, this seems very improbable. And in fact, large language models do show that they don't have a deeper structure of language inside them. And so you cannot expect to train a large language model on 1,000 sentences. That's why you call it a large language model. Otherwise, it would be a small language model and still do well. How much information do you have to train it on? You have to basically train it on the entire internet for it to get as decent as it is right now, right? And to get it 5% more decent, you will need 10 times the information of the internet. Unfortunately, that will not happen, and the internet is slowly dying because of the AI itself. And so, where's our next technology going to come from? Okay. Anyway, so the poverty of stimulus argument is in fact become stronger because of large language models. They demonstrate that they don't do what human beings do, right? So that was one very strong argument that Chomsky himself proposed for the existence of universal grammar. Another very interesting observation is how polyglots mix language. How many of us speak 4 languages here? Anyone speaks 4 languages? Lots of people speak 4 languages, right? So for example, Tarapur sir here speaks Hindi, Gujarati, Marathi, and English. Okay, correct? I speak 3 of those languages in common with him. I speak a separate 4th language. Now, if Tarapur sir and I met, we will automatically start speaking in a unique mixture of the 3 languages that we have common. Correct? This is a very common experience. All of us have that experience, right? Now, the interesting thing is that if 2 people met, let's say someone speaking Swahili and Japanese, met another person also speaking Swahili and Japanese. It's very unlikely that these 2 languages have ever been spoken together before. The moment they meet at a conference, 5 minutes later, when they know they speak the same 2 languages, they will start mixing those languages, right? And they will start mixing them in a single sentence. It won't be one sentence of Swahili, one sentence of, what was the other language? Japanese. They will start mixing it like anything. Now that could only happen if there was a universal grammatical structure underlying all languages, right? Otherwise, how will you just start mixing languages and have another person who knows the 2 languages separately be able to understand you correctly? Okay, so that's another very interesting observation towards there possibly being a universal grammar. And so what Chomsky is saying is that large language models are not demonstrating universal grammar in any specific sense, and so they are not helping the cause of linguistics. Of course, they might be helping other people, but Chomsky is a linguist, so Chomsky doesn't care about anything else. That is saying that where linguistics is concerned, it's not helping. But as AI researchers, we should be taking Chomsky seriously, and I'll explain why. So Chomsky himself had this language instinct hypothesis, which is basically that there must be something instinctual in the human brain that all of us share, which is why we can directly talk to each other, and that instinct in our brain, the language instinct, might be the universal grammar. And that's a hypothesis. I'm going to present an alternative hypothesis. And that's the hypothesis of structural limitations. I'm going to claim that the problem of language itself is limited in a fashion that languages have only a limited amount of freedom. So the universal grammar doesn't necessarily come from instinct, it comes from the limitations of the problem itself. And language is trying to solve a very specific problem, right? What does language do? It transmits observations about the real world using sequences of symbols, right? And so if you think of all the limitations, right, the observations are real world observations and they will involve things and processes and relationships. Language has to be robust to probabilistic variation, because the language that you, sir, learned at home and you learned at home and Mr. Mohanty learned at home are not the same. We have heard different languages when we were young, so our probabilistic minds are trained separately. Yet when I speak, everyone has to understand me, which is a grave limitation on what language can be. Okay, and language has to be efficient. So if you think about all of these limitations, there is what language can be really reduces a lot in scope. I'm not going to go over the theory in detail, but there's a lot of mathematical theory that we can create based on these facts. And it turns out that this theory can be formalized using graph theory, using graphs, and using better constraints on language. That these are constraints which are mathematical constraints on graph. And then on top of it, we can do statistical models. And then parsing turns out to become statistical inference on graphs. Statistical inference not usually run on graphs, which means that we have to do some new kind of mathematics. And then you can use like strong statistical methods for significance, for understanding whether the patterns you are seeing in language are actually significant or you are hallucinating. This has the possibility of creating better language technology than large language models have managed to create till now. So let me give you some work. We have been doing this work for the past 3 years. Till now, I was just talking about philosophy, but we have been doing this work for the past 3 years. So, for example, here's a sentence passed by our technology. The most eligible employee won the trophy. Okay, and it becomes a graph theoretical meaning construct where the words show up in a particular kind of graph. I won't explain the graph in detail, but the graph also has a lot of information embedded into it about what is the role of each word, how does that word relate to all the words surrounding it, and what is the meaning of that word, and so forth. And so it's actually an extremely detailed graph, and you can go on doing this for various kind of sentences. There are ways of embedding context and so forth. Currently in our lab, what we are doing is we are working on trying to figure out how well this technology is working and compare this with other techniques that are existing out there. Hopefully we will show in the next few months, given our new statistics on graphs technique, that hopefully that we are better at parsing sentences than previous techniques. So we started, I run a company, not a research lab or not an academic research lab. And so when we realized that, oh, we are doing decent, we formed a separate company on it. The company is called Fathom Graph Corporation. And what that company does is tries to merge these linguistic algorithms that we are developing and have developed with the idea of data in a database. So we are trying to combinedly create database technology and linguistic technology as a single monolithic technology, then two technologies talking to each other. And do you know why that is the case? Because if you want to interact with the data or databases using languages, the context of what you are interacting with turns out to be the data inside the database. And so to understand the context clearly, you have to be close to the data. So essentially, it's a single monolithic algorithm that does database processing as well as language processing simultaneously. That is the kind of algorithms that we are developing. And then we are trying to put it to various applications. So here is a retail application, for example, like someone asks, slim fit blue check shirts under 1,000 rupees. Try this query, like it's a simple query, but try it on any portal today, you won't get what you're looking for. Which is why we still do like these keywords in the hope that we will get something out of it, right? But our technology can do this and can do this in milliseconds right now. It's already developed to the extent that we can do this. These are the intermediate size query. Because of computational nature, we can go extremely complex. So you can say things like, hey, I want a hotel which is within 5 kilometers of this place, which is the conference location, and I want it to have breakfast, but I am a non-vegetarian, so I want this kind of breakfast and this and but not that. And it should either have this or that, and you could do all of that complicated thing. It will, from the database, find the exact thing that you're looking for. And it already does this level of complexity. And then we are also trying to apply it to industrial use cases. So for example, if a person inside a company says, show production in past 6 months, and then he gets graphs and plots, he can further, he can ask further questions about what he's seeing and have it produce more and more detailed plots. This is the kind of technology that we are building on top of our language processing technology. Final slide. What is the motivation of doing all of this? So yes, of course, we should create better language. If you think of what language technology tries to do, especially what, let us say, large language models try to do, there is, they try to understand what has been said. Then they try to use their memory to that understanding, right? Then they try to apply some logic. Many a times, if it's a creative question, they try to be creative, write a poem on something, they'll try to write a poem. Even if it's not a creative question, sometimes they will be creative. And then finally, they're trying to generate language. But unfortunately, these 5 steps are not 5 distinct steps in a large language model, right? It's just a mixed black box doing all of this just by having learned a lot of similar examples by heart and mixing those examples, sometimes doing it well, sometimes going wrong. If we could separate these black boxes and create a specific technology for each of these black boxes, then we will have artificial intelligence which is much better than the level of artificial intelligence that we have today, right? And so if you notice, what we are working on right now is understanding and memory, which is linguistics and data, and how to connect the two. Once that is done, we will go forward and try to connect logic. So we are also working on statistical algorithms and, let us say, causal inference algorithms, which will connect the language to causal information and not only able to answer how much was the production, but will be able to answer why was it as much as it was. And this will all be based on very much mathematical algorithms. Each of these steps, none of this is going to be some black box model. And so if you ask, okay, why did you understand my statement the way you did? It's going to be able to answer that in very precise terms. Like, for example, it is going to say that I understood this sentence this way because legs are used for walking and not for inferring. And that is the level of detail at which it will be able to answer any of the things that it is doing. It will be completely transparent, nothing black box in it. So I think that if we leave out creativity, the other 4 aspects can be completely computationalized, can be entirely mathematical. And if they can be, then we have to strive as the research community, as people who are interested and stakeholders, we have to strive to try to make that a reality, because we are utilizing these techniques more and more. But techniques that we utilize in our life, in our industries, in our polity, that we ourselves don't understand, is not a very good thing. And so it will have consequences that we don't understand. The more we understand the mathematics, the more we are doing things based on scientific principles rather than on black box, unknown magic, the more we are likely to sustain as an ongoing human society. Thank you. Questions? So that's a good question. First of all, just one bold statement. uh, but yes, my bold prediction isn't that necessarily that large language model parameters will reduce. My prediction is that linguistic technology will one day be based on techniques which are not black box, which means has pure parameters or all the way down to. The ideal would be full explainability, which is zero parameters. And I hope that as a collective one day we reach there, and we must, is what I am proposing to all of us. So that is the future that I envision at least. Large language models will go on doing what they are doing, and they will have a purpose. I'm not saying that they are completely useless. We use them, and we are all learning what is the better way to use them, what is the worst way to use them, and that will stabilize. I have nothing against that, but this is my prediction. And of course, we could talk more about the theory that I I I didn't actually talk about the mathematical theory, but we could talk more about it if you are interested after. Hmm. Yes. I think it's distinct from what is prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is required to try to make these really large models try to do your specific bidding. And so it kind of becomes like voodoo magic, kind of like Harry Potter, that this mantra works for this specific purpose and so forth. And there isn't a specific reason to it. So because of the difficulty of training these models, what is happening is we are making these really huge like global models. Because they are global models, it's hard to make them work for a very specific application, and which is why for every specific application we try to create prompt engineering books, and that is going to have limited success, right? So with this technology, since everything will be computational, you can choose in level what is the level of prompting that you need, and what is the assumption that it should always make, or what is the assumption that it should make in what kind of situation. It's a very programmatic kind of approach. And yeah, and so I wouldn't call that prompt engineering. In fact, this kind of thing, if you notice this, and or not and so forth, if you try to use a lot of conjunctions together in complicated ways, then the large language model stops understanding. I think what is actually happening is large language models are very good at context and at connecting words to words, but not very good at positional understanding or conjunctive understanding. So they are actually weak at understanding language. They are like that student who doesn't pay attention, but then from the words just recollect something and tries to say something. Many a times it turns out to be right because it has learned a lot. So that is what currently is happening. So that's how this will be. Yeah. Yes. So So this technology produces the exact same answer every time. It's a computational technology. There is no doubt. I mean, it doesn't even want to do randomization. For creativity, of course, we want randomization. We want a new answer every time for stories, for poems, right? But the interesting thing is that large language models do randomization even for non-creative tasks. It is actually easy to turn it off, right? Mathematically, it's easy to turn it off, but they don't turn it off. And the reason is simple. They don't turn it off because if they turn it off, then what the large language model is getting wrong, it will get it wrong every time. And then everyone will know that, oh, it is wrong. And they will give each other the prompt and say, कि अरे देखो इतना आसान सा सवाल भी उसको नहीं आता. So what happens is it randomizes, and that coin toss will give it the right answer sometimes, and we think it's intelligent. In fact, more intelligent than it actually is. Hmm? I am not a quantum physicist, but to the extent I understand, some of them are basic universe constants, dimensionless constants of the universe. And then some of them are things like what are the masses of the fixed quarks, what are the interaction force constants between two particular kind of
Maybe
particles.
mass of electron, charge of electron.
Yeah, electron is not a fundamental particle for the standard model, but like things smaller than electrons, they have constants for each one.
Second question is regarding mixing of languages. You said that all languages have a common grammar at
Yeah.
some point,
Yes.
right? My observation is that whenever people are mixing languages, it's generally a single word or a two words where they either are uncomfortable with one language, so they put their mother tongue word over there. Okay, very rarely do I see a sentence starting with one language, then a phrase coming in the middle, and again the first language continuing. So, is it necessary that the grammar is necessarily the same? I have my doubts.
Yeah, that's a good point. And so one of our goals in the future is going to be able to train two models separately and see whether you can just put them together and have them understand the polyglot or the Creole language. And I think that can be done. We haven't demonstrated it yet. We'll see. But my observation is that you're right that sometimes, like for example, people speaking Marathi tend to use the word manje, speaking any language. I know people who speak like perfect American English because they have been there for 30 years and then say manje. So it's because there is no symmetric word in any other language. So that word we have to use manje, right? So
Because if you
so,
see,
so that's what you are pointing out, that sometimes we interject another.
Correct.
But if naturally we happen to speak two languages well, then we will mix it much more naturally than just using one word.
because if you see languages structure as far as grammar is concerned, for example, let's take your example. माझं नाव उदयन आहे. My name is Udayan.
Yeah.
Okay. So the position of is, the verb, in English it comes a little earlier, and in Devanagari based languages or most Indian based languages it comes right at the end. In most Western based languages, the verb comes much further earlier up in the sentence. You will generally see what is called a noun phrase earlier. Okay. The boy got the ball. Okay. So you'll see a noun phrase, then you'll see the verb. In the second position, typically the verb comes.
Yeah.
With most Western countries.
Yes.
Whereas in Indian languages, it comes right at the end.
Yes.
So then there is a debate whether this convergence can take place.
That's a good point. So this famous poem, or go to any poem, English poem, let's say, home they brought her warrior dead. It's not the standard the permutation of English words. They brought her dead warrior home is the standard permutation of English words. We still understand it. Even in a highly positionally encoded language like English, we still understand a non-standard permutational encoding. So permutational encoding does exist, but it is not as hard as we imagine it to be. Otherwise, poetry wouldn't have existed and characters like Yoda wouldn't have existed. They exist only because we can understand them. And that means that permutation is a lighter thing than we expected in all languages. And that means that languages match much more than we initially expect them to match. I am not denying permutational encoding, but okay, we can talk more about this later. There's a lot of theory.
Okay,
But
thanks.
your observation is also correct.
Thank you.
Anyway, so maybe we can talk after because everyone should go and have lunch. So you know, come and ask me questions if you want to. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye.
Hello. Thank you, Mr. Udayan Kanade, sir, for sharing such inspiring insights with us. Your words have truly added great value to today's session. I would now like to request everyone to proceed for lunch from 1 to 2 p.m. in building number 2. Thank you.